everyone, welcome to a review of episode 9 of How to Summon a Demon Lord. And before we start, I want to thank everybody who watched my last review. And I want you guys to know that I filmed this intro about 10 times now because starting the intro is very hard. So, yeah, let's get right into it. So we start off in the intro with two questionable figures killing a lot of people. There was a female who kind of looked like Alicia, but I'm not sure. And then we have some knight dude who later we find out is a paladin named Saddler. Um, but yeah, I really like that intro. It was added a little bit of mystery. It made it a little bit more tense. We find out pretty much exactly, at least who one of them is, and I'm pretty sure the other one is Alicia. I think they were trying to show like how they both had similar backgrounds. Maybe I don't know. And I want to say that this time I do have notes written down for the episode and certain points I want to get to. Unlike last time, if you guys watched my Overlord review a few days ago, I just winged it. So if it seemed like I winged it, well, you're right, I winged it. But yeah, so and before we actually get into this episode, I want to talk about the last ending of the last episode of How to Summon a Demon Lord. Um, let's just say if you guys hopefully didn't skip the ending because there was a very fan servicey ending last episode, and for those of you who've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. So, what did you guys think about that? Because for me, I was like, I don't know. I mean, everybody loves a little bit of fan service, but god damn, that was ooh. So okay, that's all I really wanted to talk about last episode. But yeah, so after the intro song, we find out who that one of those guys was, and that's Saddler. He's a paladin apparently, and we find out he killed a bunch of, I think, cultists. Um, for the most part, the only crime they really committed was believing in the demon lord or worshiping the demon lord. So we find out that Saddler killed them all anyway. It doesn't matter. So we know he's a ruthless killer that believes in some sort of higher justice. Uh, but yeah, and we get a little bit from that scene of them of him talking to Alicia. We find out that she is really scared of him for some reason. Um, she put on a pretty brave act, but we could tell that she was a little nervous around him and feared him. I don't know what history they have together, and we don't really find out too much about it during the episode either. But so yeah, and then we go to Diablo and the gang, and we have Shara learning a new skill, how to summon things, which is pretty cool. I'm betting she's gonna end up becoming really good at it, and maybe summon something super strong. That's just a logical conclusion, but and then right after this, we have another very heavy fan servicey thing that I should have known. Should have known it was gonna go that route, but uh, it starts out before it even goes to that. We have Rem mentioning, not Rem. We have Cheryl mentioning that Rem smells, and I thought it was gonna be something to do with the demon lord inside of her, but I think that was just a gateway to get into the whole bathing scene. You guys know the bathing scene. Do you guys really like these fan servicey scenes, or are you guys a little cringy with them? Because I think I'm a little cringy with them. I like them, don't get me wrong. Rem is a little bit more like, I don't know how I feel about Rem yet, because, she's kind of a lolly, I think. And Shara, I mean, she might be a lolly, but it's a little different with Shara. So for me, because of that, I think that's what makes it a little bit cringy. But, I mean, we don't really know. I think, I'm not sure we know their ages. But for now, for me, those are a little bit more on the cringy side. I'm not a big fan of the fan servicey stuff. Because when it comes to my anime I like to watch, I really like, I don't know, something that has a clear picture and, keeps the fan service to a minimum. That's just me. I don't know about you guys. But so yeah, and then after this bathing scene, or actually during the bathing scene at the very end, we have the previous female we encountered. Her name Eldergard, I think. Elgard, something like that. But finally, I think most of us have predicted that she was going to become part of the harem group um, at some point. But finally, she came in. Really cool. And that's when we find a little bit more towards the story and the whole thing with Rem and her demon lord inside. We find out that she wants to resurrect the demon lord. She knows now that the demon lord is in Rem, but that's for me. I had my own theory into how she was going to play a part, and it had something more to do with Diablo becoming the demon lord she wants to serve. So I did not see it go this way, but I still like it. It was pretty cool. And so yeah, we find out that she knows a ritual, or she claims to know a ritual that will allow the summoning or the resurrection of the demon lord without killing Ram, and that's cool. Um, that's exactly what the gang sort of wanted. I mean, actually, they probably wanted to kill the demon lord and not kill Ram, But this is the next best thing. Um, and she wants to teach them. She wants to teach Diablo and the rest of them how to do that, how to do this ritual. So they're gonna meet up in, I think they said, 3 days. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Then we have them in a different scene in an inn or a cat cafe. I think it was a cat cafe. But that's when we get brought it back into the Sadler storyline, in which Alicia, she comes and she's taking them to the inn because she's super scared of Sadler, and at this point, I don't know why she questions the power of Diablo, but she does. She doesn't trust him, or I don't think she trusts his power, unless she knows something about Sadler that she's kept secret, like I don't know, something to do with his political status. I don't know, but and of course they run into Sadler and the rest of the soldiers, the Imperial Knights. But so yeah, they have a confrontation with Sadler, and this is one of the more funniest parts. When Diablo, he knows that he has to go do the whole ritual thing, so he wants to avoid any sort of battle, and he knows he's a self-proclaimed demon lord, right? So his whole thing is, well, he has something to do, so he's not gonna provoke him. He's not gonna get into a battle, but yet that's somehow what ends up happening, because he straight up just admits, or says he's a demon lord, and sadly took it as a joke, but at the same time, he questioned Alicia for uh, even hanging out around with a dude who would do that. As funny as he might have thought it was. But so yeah, so he's already on full on battle mode, but not really towards Diablo. I think he just thinks he's a funny guy, right? But then Rem, she's arguing with him, so that's when he ends up using what he was saying was the power of God. Of course, Diablo called him on his bullshit really fast, but so yeah, and yeah, because he had used some type of magic spell actually to hold Rem to the floor, some type of choke hold with an invisible like magic flow or whatever. But that was pretty cool. I was expecting a little bit of a bigger battle or a cliffhanger. I'm like, at this point, episode's probably gonna end. That sucks, but it is what it is. Um, but no, it was pretty cool. He used a ring. I'm not sure if he's used that before, but it was a magic reflection ring, which was legit. And then when he got turned into stone, I thought that was cool. Then it goes to that. I think that's maybe where we got left off with the cliffhanger. But that's what he's gonna do. He's gonna go try to do that ritual. Um, yeah, because of course Sadler got turned to stone, so can't do anything with Sadler. Although that is foreshadowing a really big battle, which is I'm really looking forward to. At this point, I'm not sure exactly where How to Summon a Demon Lord is going. I think a lot of people think is pretty generic, especially compared to something like Overlord, which has a similar concept. But I don't know. I think it's going a different route, and I like it. It's definitely different than Overlord. Overlord at this point, it's really starting to do certain stories more with the mind, and I've explained this a little bit in Overlord, but it has to do a lot with how um, Ains is going into, or how he's handling the idea of being this master ruler of a great tomb or whatever. But How to Summon a Demon Lord has something in that regard. It's something similar. Like Diablo, he's always trying to act like how he thinks he should be, but it's definitely a lot more humor in it, and the story seems more closed in. Like it really won't go far out. Um, I like that little better than Overlord in terms of that, because Overlord seems to really sometimes throw you for a loop with like minor character storylines, and sometimes that don't even matter, like we saw last episode of Overlord. But that's one thing I really like about How to Summon a Demon Lord. But so yeah, and that was the episode. I'm curious about what you guys thought about it, and if you guys haven't seen the series, this anime, I recommend it. Well, it's not for everybody. I'm just gonna let you guys know that, but just watch out for the fan service. That might get a little bit in your way. It's cheap, I'll admit that, but sometimes it's kind of funny. It's it's a little bit funny, but yeah, if you get past that point, it's kind of like a generic isekai anime, but it's funny. So I think that's what might keep it afloat. Um, in terms of next episode, they're probably gonna learn that ritual. So I'm assuming they are gonna resurrect the demon lord, and then they might fight. They might do a battle, or that might be a cliffhanger. Hopefully not though, because a whole episode on just resurrection. No, then it needs action. This anime is really good with really cool OP action. But that's something I personally am a big fan of. So I'm looking forward to the next episode. Definitely will watch it, and I will review it unless for some reason this anime is so hated that nobody wants to watch that. But I doubt that's the case, because it's cool anime. I'm sure not a lot of people review this anime because of certain reasons, valid reasons, I think. But so yeah, and that's where I'm gonna leave off. What you guys think about this? If you like this video, or if you absolutely hate me and think my personality is very boring, also let me know if that's the case, because I'm pretty new to reviewing it. If you guys have ever tried recording yourself in an empty room, let me just tell you guys, there's nobody here, but it still feels like everybody's watching you, because at least one person, like your mom's gonna be watching this. And I'm not saying my mom watches this, but what I'm saying is probably like one person watches this. So over time, I'm sure I'll open up a lot more. For now, I just gotta get used to it. So so yeah, I'm gonna see you guys next time.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you love me.